All right, so good to have you back. It's still the weekend politics, and we're live here on CRBC TV, live in Calabar. We just had an interview with the special advisor to the governor on budget, and in the course of our discourse, he had raised that there is one agency, one service that has a lot of responsibility in generating revenue for the state to fund the budget. And I have joining me the acting chairman of the Cross River Internal Revenue Service, Prince Edwin Okon. Good afternoon, sir. So good to have you join us.
Good afternoon, Joseph. Good to be here again.
And let me say Happy New Year to you, sir.
Happy New Year.
All right, so let's quickly run through the budget, the people's first budget. We'd like you to talk to us on this because you relate with the people. We are having a budget that is down to earth for the people. Talk to us on this.
Okay, thank you so much, Joseph, and Happy New Year to Australians, Nigerians. Congratulations to our governor. Excitement is in the air, and everybody is excited about it. Coming to the budget, I'm happy that the SA budget has already dissected the budget, and I'm listening to him. Perfect gentleman that knows what he's doing. In terms of the budget, it's a people's first budget. Everybody was carrying, there was conversation. I remember when we had the consultative forum with all the stakeholders, traditional rulers, and others to look at the budget and see how we can come up with a realistic budget that will create impact in the lives of cross variants. And I'm happy what the SA budget just talked about in terms of entering the hinterlands, like my own village that they call the Beneke, that we don't have good roads. The governor has entered that community, and these are some of the things that people will experience in the next 4 to 8 years, and God gives us strength.
Okay, now let's look at one major thing. The budget has to be funded, and your service is known for revenue generation. How do you intend to generate revenue to fund at least an aspect of this budget? Because you can't fund the entire budget.
Okay, thank you. Like I said, professionals in the field, the budget is an estimate, and it has various areas in which those funding must come into play. And one of it is internally generated revenue, like the SA budget said. The fund expected from FAC and other sources, and grants, aids and grants, and other opportunities that will come to the states. No need to keep talking about the areas that are already dissected. For us in the internal revenue service, our job is cut out to raise the sum of 34.9 billion, call it 35 billion for the states. And like I said in the House of Assembly, our target will really be to surpass that number. And we are confident that by H1, by June 2024, God giving all of us alive and giving us strength, we should go for a review of the numbers. As we speak, our strategy has always been hits the ground running. The year has started, and I've pleaded with my team. There's not too much of holiday again. Let's get it done, and by Q1 we'll start seeing the result, because they say it's better we start the work now. And we've seen the numbers. I've asked all the directors to give me highlights of how each of the revenue generating units, even the non-revenue generating units, are also involved in the exercise. Imagine asking a director admin that you're involved in revenue generation. So everybody understands the job, what is cut out for us, and what we need to do differently to achieve that.
Okay, we quite understand that in the bid of trying to generate revenue, there are some elements that would be very good at leakages. While you're trying to generate particular revenue for the state, some people are just there, picking from the basket. How do you intend to block leakages?
Moving forward, digitalization, and I'm happy to also announce that with the due approval of the governor, we have a company that are assisting us seriously on digitalization, and we have gone very far. And not just for us, but with all the MDAs. And this job started last year. He has given us a mandate that Q1 marks each one, all the MDAs, all the revenue sources will have to come inside the treasury single account. And that's our target. And the good thing is that you have the app in your phone, the senior officials in government, even the governor himself, every code that comes with the government post is seizing on the app. So that's amazing for me. And it's one thing that I'm happy about, that this is happening within this time that I'm handling the affairs of the Internal Revenue Service. And honestly, even in 2023, we recorded very high revenue even from the MDAs, because we got approval from the governor at the point to allow us to have direct contact management of the revenue sources. And the record is clear. In the last 7 years, they recorded about MDAs got about 3.2 billion, but at the end of 2023, we got about 6.4 billion from the MDAs, and that's
that was just from June to December.
From January to December 2024, and most of those funds actually came in when I assumed office between June
to December.
And that's really helped a lot, that at least the state could run even with all the challenges getting funds from FAC and all that. So digitalization is key for us, and collaboration is also very important. We've identified the major areas. I've always said, yes, the Forestry Commission, I'm happy to also say that the chairman of the Forestry Commission is also doing a lot about the generation, so that not just talking about getting the revenue from the timber, but also looking at how you also preserve the forest and even have something for the generation to come. And the cocoa, last week we had a meeting with the stakeholders of the cocoa industry, from the farmers to the buying agents, and with all the local buying agents, and also the exporters. We're working hand in hand with the Ministry of Agri, with the Commissioner of Agri. We had a meeting with the executives of Caninicom last week, and all the major stakeholders. All this is to ensure that we key into this mandate and make sure that we don't drop the ball along the way in the course of the revenue generation. And key to us is, even within the Internal Revenue Service, we are doing a reorganization, restructuring of the service, i.e. bringing in some more professionals, and also looking at how we can make life easy for everybody. We have created the informal sector, and good thing is that the last week of December, the State House of Assembly had passed a law on the presumptive tax. And I want to thank the Speaker and all the members of that Honorable House for passing that bill into law, because that's going to help us a lot reduce so much of the issues around the multiple tax. Yes, that talks about more or less the personal income tax for certain classes of the small scale businesses. So a lot of noise about the small scale businesses, people that do small businesses. Now we have a standard where we'll be able to actually assess them and then give them a figure that will not be, the time that will cut their throat off. So these are some of the things. Property tax is also another department I've created within this period. And the essence is to look at all the taxes within that sphere, to see what we'll be able to do. Most people don't pay ground rent, and look at what's happening in FCT. I say it often. FC, you go to some other states, you pay. If you own houses in those states, you pay. So Cross River State shouldn't be an exception. Some own this rent for a long while, even companies within the state. We've identified some strategies that we're going to handle that this year. And another department I've created is high network individuals. And truly, for me, my target is not even the small scale business, because due apology to most very comfortable men and women in the town, most of them don't even contribute to the tax in the state. Very little. They own someone's property. If you run their bank account statement, you see a lot of millions of naira running through the account, but they pay very little to the government. And you have respect to most people, and they are the same people that complain about so much of these taxes. And I say it without mincing words, because if we don't contribute to the state, there's no way we can have revenue, income to even do the roads or build the hospitals and at least active the mandate of the present government.
Very great feat there. But let me quickly find out, Chairman, how do we strike a balance looking at the present economic realities in the country, of which Cross River is part of the national? How do we strike a balance with the present economic realities and your target to generate revenue for the state?
Okay, thank you. Like I said the other time, that I'm a member of the Joint Task Board and also one of the committees at the federal level, where a report was presented to us on how to reduce the taxes, the number of taxes in the country. And I'm glad to say that a lot of the success, because those taxes, by the grace of God, by this quarter, that report should actually go very far, because we'll end up having less than taxes in the states, and that is also one way of reducing the pains of Nigerians at large and cross variants. And I've talked about the presumptive tax that determines how much the small scale businesses pay in terms of PIT, personal income tax. And yes, we know the country things are difficult, but even in difficult countries, difficult situation, you must always find a way to support the system, because there's only one way in which projects can be funded, and that is by through taxes, levies, majorly. From the Federation account, we'll get whatever we get as custom duties, as all the other kinds of taxes. That's what is shared across the various states. And let me add that it might not just be here alone. I said it the other time, I'm repeating it. If you know any area in which Cross River revenue is being held anywhere, please come to us and tell us, Chairman, please, I've heard that Cross River has about 10 billion, because someone came to us and had some conversation with us, and we're investigating today. So, Chairman, Cross River State, I heard Cross River State has 10 billion to so way that has not been collected. Please share that information with us so that we can also go deep into it and see how we can bring those funds to support the state. So, these are various ways, like I said, is not necessarily the, charging so much of these taxes on people, but also being innovative to see what you can also do differently to support the state to carry on this project.
Great. Now, my last interview with the special advisor before he left, there's something he said that we've reached our borrowing ceiling. The state cannot borrow anymore, and now this will leave so much job on internally generated revenue. How do you intend to, create some more strategies to show up the IGR for Cross River State when we know we cannot borrow, at least for now?
Okay. One of the things I've pleaded last week, we shared some letters with all the commissioners and ministries. For us as a state, the law allows us to charge withholding taxes on individuals, on ventures and business enterprises, whereas whatever is being taken for projects executed, for jobs done, for limited liability companies, go to the federal government. Without sounding selfish, they say charity begins at home. I've advised that please, when in the course of carrying out the jobs, so far as the projects or the contracts you are trying to award allows you to use an enterprise in granting that or in approving that contract or giving that job to that individual. Please use an enterprise, because we are cross-variants. When you use that enterprise, it means in the course of our audits, whatever tax that is deducted from that company for the job projects or contract you have awarded, that tax component will come to Cross River State. But if it's a limited liability company, without being selfish, like I said, the revenue will first go to the federal. And as a way of encouraging all of us to say, how do we improve on the revenue of the state? That is one aspect. And I can tell you, if we deliberately carry out that, the 35 billion we're talking today will be a child's play. Without mentioning the name, a very renowned Crossivarian recently had to write to a tax agency to tell them that the project he executed, that tax should not go to FIRS, that tax should be paid to Cross River. And the amount is about 250 million that was paid to another body. But the Crossivarian who has interest of the state at hand had to write to say, my office address, because of the residency role practiced in the tax system. Even those outside the country, in the course of registering your companies, you might decide to use the home address in Calabar. So that when the tax liability is being deducted, that tax component will come to Cross River State. But if you register an enterprise and the address is in Abuja, the address is in Kano, and the address is in Lagos, when that tax is deducted, they will pay to Lagos State, they will pay to Kano State. Meanwhile, your state is suffering.
So I think, Mr. Chairman, the last time you appeared, you had talked about the harmonization. Where are we now with that regard? Because what you're saying really goes very much with the harmonization of taxation.
Yeah, the harmonization is actually a different thing, because the harmonization talks about having 20 taxes and having 20 consultants come to you to collect tax. We are saying we don't need 20 people to come to you.
Okay.
We just need 5-6 people. We'll just need to put all the taxes together. Then ask only one consultant to liaise with you to make sure you pay what is due. In fact, as we speak, I just reviewed the one for the pharmacists in the States this afternoon. By next week, we are signing off. With that, they won't need to have 30, 20, 15 consultants. This one will disturb them today, tomorrow another one will come. And I've seen several requests from different bodies. We started conversations, we are meeting with MBA, we are meeting with the the Estate Surveyors and Valuer, and different groups. And these are things that make life easy for Crossivarians, at the same time increase the tax base while reducing the leakages in the system.
Okay. There's been this allegation that some politically exposed persons do not contribute to the growth, or to use the word, do not pay tax. What do you intend to do with that? With those that are politically exposed in the state?
Yes, as we speak today, let me not disclose because some of these things are very confidential. But we started a strategy where we get some of the reports of persons that actually been done. And let me also point out that the governor has said anybody that is supposed to pay any tax must pay. I repeat again, as at today, all the requests have ever taken to the governor with respect to payment of tax by any group or any individual, he hasn't rejected it. And he has said it that none of them is going to call them because they know that they want the system to grow and the system to grow properly.
Okay. Now, Chairman, let's look at the last time you had an event in Calabar, you brought in former FIRS boss, Babatunde Fowler. And there was this issue that was raised that over 100,000 are not in the tax net. How do we intend, in a bit of generating revenue for the 2024 budget, how do we intend to bring their own tax, so to say, into the tax net?
So after that conversation, the discussion was about dormant taxpayers, people that possibly have paid before at the points they are not paying again. Some are dead, some financial condition will not be the same again, and the others. As we speak, we've already identified 17,000 taxpayers that we have taken off that bucket. And the reason behind setting up these other new departments, like I've said, is as a result of that conversation. I've talked about the informal tax sector, I've talked about department, I've talked about the property tax, because most of those individuals and the high network individuals, which is the third department that we set up, high network individual, which takes us back to what you just asked earlier. There's going to be a direct approach towards identifying those that are in that net. And we're working with the relevant agencies. Like I said, I don't want to disclose so much of those details, but the relevant agencies, they've been speaking with the EFCC and other agencies, whatever information we need to get with the banks, because most of these things will have to pass through the financial system. We need the cooperation of the banks as we go about this so that we can at least support the states in meeting up with this revenue target that is before us.
Okay, the last bit one. The task ahead is pretty huge for you, but from your pedigree, you are a round peg in the round hole. Let's get to see. Talk to us about organizing workshops, seminars for your staff to help in the revenue generation to ensure that this is being shut off for the state.
Okay, thanks. For me, maybe due to the environment that I've worked all through my career before now, staff welfare has always been, one of the things I've adopted. As we speak, we have different groups of staff, both the ad hoc staff and the regular staff. Conversations are there around pleading with the governor to convert most of those very hardworking ad hoc staff. But before then, I'm introducing a medical scheme for them so that at least when they're ill, because the target is huge, we all work, but when they're ill and there's need for them to take care of themselves through that medical insurance, they'll be taken care of. So the point is staff welfare, trainings, and everything around that circle that will assist us meet the target with the support of the governor and all the MDAs and cross-variants will be able to meet that target. Trainings will continue. In fact, we're spreading it right now. Aside the regular physical trainings, we will have virtual trainings across the tax offices in the state. It's going to be a huge task because everybody will be on the road. I've told my staff, I don't want to see so many people sit down in the offices doing nothing. Let's rise up. Let's go out there. Let's see what we'll be able to do so that we can meet this target that is before us. But I can promise that it's not going to be the same again because I'm very confident we'll be able to meet these numbers and support the government in carrying on this program.
Definitely. And now the concluding thought I'd like to get from you would be in two ways. As regards revenue generation, and also 48 hours ago, the governor, won at the Supreme Court. So let's hear you talk to Cross River Areas as regards keen into the taxation net, and also wishing His Excellency and the people of Cross River State a big congratulations on that victory.
I think I start with the last one.
Great.
Because when some people saw me dancing and Chairman, why are you dancing like this? They will not understand. Because that victory was sweet. We were there during the campaign. We saw how it went. The history around it, we saw how it went. And we're happy that God has affirmed this. I want to congratulate the governor. I want to congratulate Her Excellency, the wife, who has been very supportive, who has been assisting the governor in different areas. I want to congratulate President, especially those that were there and that have been there. On the revenue side, a lot has to be done, and very key to it is, I've talked about perseverance, looking out for information on where our revenues are, because we cannot do anything, so everything. So we need everybody to be out there to provide the relevant information that will assist us. And I also encourage cross-variants again, please, wherever you find yourself, you're in UK, you're in Lagos, you're in Abuja, wherever you are, please, I want to encourage you, when you are setting up your businesses, please look for a Cross River address to include, because when you do that, then they are deducting your tax. Even if you're in Abuja and the address on your CAC document carries Cross River, when you're in Abuja, when they want to pay that tax, they will pay the tax to Cross River State. And that will be your own contribution toward the development of the state. And lastly, I want to also encourage all of us, please, let's assist as we go ahead with the digitalization process. We want the state, we want the revenue stream to be digitalized. We want everybody to be on the same page. Cooperate with us so that we can support the governor in carrying out the project. Remember, if we don't have the funds, there won't be any projects. And we need everybody to support us in this request.
Thank you so very much, Prince Edwin Okon, the acting chairman of the Cross River Internal Revenue Service. It's been a moment talking with you, and we hope to still have you on here as far as your office is concerned. You're part and parcel of this program to ensure that you inform Cross Riverians on what your service is doing. All right. So this is where we bring in the Weekend Politics Sunday edition to an end. Please ensure you have a beautiful evening ahead of you and stay out of trouble. Weekend Politics returns next week, God willing. Till then, my name is Joseph Yang. Good evening.